Hi guys, and welcome back to game number 2 from the first round of Swiss at the Sheffield Patriot Games Regional. And that's myself on the left playing as light side, and Philip Roberts playing as what looks to be a Sith Hoth deck, which is interesting. And once again, we are joined by Anton Price. Hi, Anton.
Hi Andy, hello everyone.
Pleasure having you. So yeah, Sith and Hoth. It's a very. I like that deck. It's very cool. Lots of good triggers to remove damage and punish units for attacking. I really like that Hoth deck. It's. I don't see it as much as I'd like to.
Yeah, I think around this time when there were lots of vehicles, it really wasn't doing its thing because the sacrifice with the ice trompers, especially in Killing Cold, only removed units and not non-vehicle units. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth noting to our viewers. This is from the Sheffield UK regional held I think in late May, early June, and so this was well before the recent additions to the Jedi powerhouse. So Gamorrean Run and the new Yoda weren't around at this point. But I think this was after the restricted list, so no dash and freeholders. So hence why I seem to be running a Sleuth Rush deck, which I know you're a big fan of as well, Anton.
yeah, I think it's a firm favourite. Me and my brother always used to play it against each other.
I think it's one of those decks you're always going to have to, no matter how old this game gets with how many objective sets, you're always going to have to just have in the back of your mind, does my deck handle sleuths? Because if it doesn't, you're probably going to lose a game here or there. But a great wall of defenders coming out turn one straight away for Philip on the right there. A Wampa for free, I think.
Yep.
An Ice Trumper and the Snowtrooper Vanguard, which is a great blocker. 3 black unit damage, 3 health, and I think does it have shielding as well?
It does. Yep.
Absolute beast of a unit. But doesn't help against sleuths.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I don't think the Wampa does either, so even though he played it for free, it does have a printed cost higher than 2. So it's Ice Trumper or nothing. So let's have a quick talk about these objectives whilst the edge battle's going on. So on the light side, we've got the prep for evac, which is giving some protector Y-wings. The Racer Stakes, which is additional unopposed damage, and I think Against All Odds, which is Dash's objective, which gives the light side additional damage if you have less cards than your opponent. And on the dark side, Executor arrives for a boatload of resources and the holocron. And the Killing Cold, which remind me of the text on that objective, Anton?
I think it's remove one. Sacrifice units remove 1 damage from Hoth objective. Transfer it.
Which is actually a great little combination if you do manage to get the Executor out there.
Yeah.
Sacrifice units all over the place and just have the Executor rain death upon everything.
So what Phil's got, he's got a way of keeping his objectives alive. Also, he could start moving damage onto your prep for evac.
Yep.
As well, start loading that up, ready to take it out.
Because prep for evac against this dark side deck is actually quite tasty from my side of things. If I can get rid of a Killing Cold, I can start bouncing his units into hand.
So it might be worth Phil getting rid of that first, knowing.
I know I would. I mean, it's a difficult decision when you're looking at things like raise the stakes.
And that's always a problem when coming up against these sleuth decks. You would always have to go against raise the stakes, across Yanuit, even the Dashes pod there. Which one do you go for first?
Well, I think I remember speaking to Phil on the day. Part of the combo of this deck is getting the Executor out and then just raining hell on everything. And if that's going to be a problem if you don't get rid of a prep for evac, because you can just bounce the Executor straight back to hand, and that's not a unit you want to be playing over and over again. Because it costs 8.
You also need to start getting your resources out early. And I noticed Phil hasn't. It's his second turn and it doesn't look like he's drawn one yet. I know we're probably going to use the holocron if he gets one for the executor, but you probably do need some Sith libraries in there coming out as well.
Emergency holocron is good, but it doesn't. I think I'd rather, if it was a holocron late in the game or a Sith library on turn 1, I think I'd rather have the library. I think I missed what happened there. Was that an aggression?
Yeah, an aggression forced you to sacrifice your one of your sleuths. Got him to remove the damage from one of his killing colds.
Yeah. And I think Phil could have triggered the ISB's reaction there as well to draw a card, couldn't he? Because I'm pretty sure you can have one trigger can actually activate a number of different reactions, can't it? You don't have to just choose one. Succumb to the cold puts a focus back on the sleuth, so it's quite a good combo there. Keeps that attacker on the back foot.
Yeah, I love that card. Back in the day, keeping likes of home one at bay.
Yeah.
So it didn't come in again.
0 cost as well, and I think you get 2 in the pod, don't you?
Yeah.
So that's actually quite a good answer at even the modern force lock decks. If Yoda frees up, you can put a. If he tries to commit with May the Force be with you these days, you can just succumb him to the cold and put a focus straight back on him. That's a nice answer that I might have to start exploring. Now, whilst Phil doesn't have any libraries or any additional resources on the table, I think you've got to be happy with his defensive wall here. Yeah, it's not very good against sleuths, but look at the amount of black unit damage on the table for Phil.
Yeah.
That is brutal to deal with.
They've got a lot of health as well, so they're not easy to remove.
And worth noting on the light side as well, I'm pretty sure my deck on the day was running defensive Yavin 4, so you could discard out of hand to make vehicles cheaper. That objective hasn't hit the table, and I know that slows this deck right down. Hauling all the cards. Probably should have done that before you started spending resources. And again.
I think you've got Protector in your hand, so I think it's a safe play to possibly put that in.
Yeah, 2 resources, 3 resources left, so it's... Yeah, you got to go with the Protector here, Andy. Ooh. Okay, keeping 3 resources open. Is there a Rebel Assault in there that I can't? Yes, there is. So raise the stake is turned off there. And I think you've got to Rebel Assault that now whilst it's in range of... Otherwise it'll just heal itself back up. But I think the play here is...
I think you're going to do it as he... Yeah, after he refreshes.
Yep, so Dial ticks up to 4. Refresh the objectives. So yeah, end of the refresh phase, Rebel Assault. Yeah. So that just denies Philip the resource, the objective for that turn. Now there's a holocron. That's the turn you needed to see that. 4 resources open. Suddenly becomes 7.
It's only 6 right now.
Is it?
Yeah, you've taken out an objective.
The executor gives 2. So 1, 2. Tuscans. What are your thoughts on Tuscans, Anton?
I've been looking at them recently. I had some weird idea of because the Tuscans are good. They have this weird reaction where you can pull them back after they strike, but it's not a forced reaction.
Yeah.
But the letdown is their objective. It's only got 4 health, and it's when a character focuses, it has to double focus.
Yep.
I think it is.
Yeah, or does a damage. I'm not sure which.
Yeah. So I was thinking with all these Jedi Force Lock decks around, is there a way of getting that objective into play, keeping it alive, and play vehicles around it?
Could be.
Sounds like an idea I'll throw out there.
Something to explore for sure. I mean, I've got to admit, I glossed over them when they first came out. I thought two cost for 2 health and two icons, one of which is the tactics, is quite reasonable. But then for whatever reason, I just thought it was a forced reaction. So I completely condemned them to the bin. But I remember this was the game against Phil where he schooled me and showed me that it was actually a voluntary reaction, and that made me think twice. And you get 2 or 3 of them in the pod as well, don't you?
I think there's 3 of them, Bantha and a Gaffy Stick, and the Gaffy Stick's really a good card, helping you win the edge.
It doesn't strike with them, keeps the blockers at home and just sends in the probe droid. For a bit more damage on Raise the Stakes.
Just going back to the Tuscans for a minute, I think the reason they don't see much play anymore is because we thought a scavenger deck might come about with that trait, but it seems that the recent pod coming out and the one set with the scavengers in just doesn't really synergize well with anything. So I think they, like you say, have been put to the back of the box and only make rare appearances.
I think it's only a matter of time before all the different traits will get their moment in the spotlight. I'm sure vehicles and unblockables have had their moment to shine almost. So have the reduced cost things like freeholders. Now we're seeing Jedi and the Force Lock have some love. So I think it's only a matter of time before Trooper and Walker decks come out swinging. Who knows? Ewoks maybe before too long.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yub.
Yeah.
So Protector Y-Wing hits the table. There's another one, and there he goes. So that's 2. This looks to be a bit more of a productive turn. Both Sleuths are available again now. Another Y-Wing, so the objective damage is there to start laying some pain down on the dark side. But if you're not a Sleuth Scout, I really wouldn't want to attack into those snowtroopers.
I think you just got to weigh up how you plan your attack. I mean, you start trading with the Sleuth scouts. Phil's got to decide whether how much he wants to commit to defend, and all you need to do is get those edge cards out of his hand.
Yeah.
Then following that up with the Y-wing and the protectors, with little or no edge cards, you could really swing in for some heavy damage and finish us off.
Yeah, Phil's got, well, it's 4 or 5 cards in hand. I've only got 3. I'm playing Rebels. Half my deck is Rebels, so it doesn't really have that many icons. Well, there dash. I think that's a dash in hand. He's got 3 on him, if I remember. So yeah, Phil's doing the wise thing, discarding down to turn against all odds off.
And that's a psychological effect as well that will affect your edge battles, thinking you've got to get rid of some cards to negate that damage.
Yeah. So puts the damage on the Sleuth and tactics on the other one. And I think I would swing here. Probably with everything. Because you don't have to be frightened of any objective damage coming back from Phil. And I guess you just have to plough through those defenders. It's painful, but it has to be done. 5 for the light side, 4 for the dark. That's nice, that turns the Y-Wings extra icons on, as well as the operative. No point protecting there, just take the hit. So it's painful, but you need to get that damage on those dark side objectives, so do what needs to be done. Now, what pod is that?
That is where the pro droids come from. Is it looking for droids?
Ah, yes. I assumed the probe droid was in the Imperial Vader one, but there's another
There's
one.
2 types, I think.
Vast resources. It's the Anton special. Here comes the juice. A couple of ice trompers in hand, which is always nice. Removing units from engagements. I think they're...
Unfortunately, nothing for it to work on.
Yeah, it doesn't work on vehicles, does it? Probe droid takes out Razor Stakes. That probe droid has done some work this game.
I think you've got to attack with your Tuscans here.
Yeah, lay the tactics on the board, keep
the Sleuths out.
Keep the Sleuths out of the game, yeah.
Or a Sleuth out there. You just don't have enough tactics.
Now it's interesting, I don't seem to remember triggering prep for evac when Killing Cold left the table. Could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you missed that.
I don't think I've ever remembered to trigger prep for evac, if I'm honest.
I did it once in a challenge deck game. I sent the Death Star back to my hand.
Oh, you never did.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
We're actually looking at each other saying, what happens now?
Doesn't the Death Star cost like 20 resources in that deck?
Yeah.
Something silly. It's not a bad payoff for you. Good work. Keeps the other Tuscan back. I know it. So that again is another objective, adding damage when the light side swings for an attack. Now I think the Cloud City operative here is a money card, just freeing up that Sleuth. And put a tactics on either the Trumpet or the Tuscan. One of my favourite units in the game, I think, the B-Wings.
You're lining up for your attack run.
Yeah. S-Foil's in attack position. Shield is down. They have so much objective damage. And they're sexy as hell. You can't go wrong. For 2 cost as well. I think one of their biggest benefits actually is being neutral. It's something that's overlooked quite a lot in this game, but not having to worry about the resource match. So there's a pretty big attack going in against Killing Cold there. And the Ice Trumpet is defending. Looks like there's a sacrifice. That's a good call. Removes the damage from Killing Cold.
As long as you win the edge, though, you've still got enough to finish it off.
Yeah, I don't know how many he's attacked. I think the whole front row of 5 is going in. Oh, yeah, so there's an action window. Remove that guy from the engagement. And do a damage.
Now you've remembered.
There we go. Now it's an interesting one there actually. Phil could have, between all those vehicles striking, he could have been sacrificing units to continue to remove damage from the Killing Cold, so it depends. He didn't have to let it die there. And then all 3 go in for Executor and do the final damage, so good game. I think there's a lot of shenanigans coming out of that Dark Side deck, which I wasn't expecting on the day, and it's definitely a pod and a bunch of objectives that I think will see more and more play.
Yeah, I remember it had it at the end of the Hoth cycle. It was quite a big deck. Then it sort of went out of phase. I'm wondering and hoping whether it will see a bit more of a return.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth noting as well, Phil didn't see the Executor there, which I know as soon as that hits the table in that deck, it becomes a force to be reckoned with. So, but 2 great games there to kick off the day. Round 1 of the Sheffield Regional done with, and we'll move on to game number 2. Thanks to Anton for joining. Any shout-outs, Anton?
Shout out to the community. Keep on playing. Keep enjoying the game.
Thanks very much for joining us, Anton. And as always, you can reach us both on Twitter. The channel is @FullyOps. And Anton, is it @Darth_BS?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's me.
So do get in touch. Follow us both on Twitter and like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Cheers, guys.